Hi guys, welcome to another video. In today's video we're going to make a banana bread. It's a simple, easy to make recipe that I'm going to take you through. But before we start, you just need to use things that you already have in your house, and those that you don't have, like let's say bananas, you can easily get them locally. A few things I would like you to note: ensure that your bananas are overly ripe, like the squishy ones. Those are the ones you want to use because they've developed the sugar properly, and they are also easy to mash. If you do not get those ones, you can just buy the bananas that are available to you, wrap them in a foil, then bake them for around 10 minutes on each side. It will help develop the sugars. Understand your oven. Every oven is different, the settings are different. So before you start, please ensure that you have understood how your temperature settings are. Last but not least, if you do not have measuring cups at your disposal, you can use the regular cups, but when you use them, ensure that you use a standard cup for all the measurements. That way you're able to eyeball the quantities quite well and don't end up ruining your recipe just because of the measurements. Because baking is a science and you need to be keen on that whenever you're baking, be it pancakes, be it biscuits, bread, and also cakes. With that, we can get started. We have flour, banana, our bread tin, baking soda, eggs, sugar, water, oil, salt. So our first step is to first prepare the tin. You do this by first lining it with your butter. Then you're going to dust it with some flour, just a tablespoon will do, to coat every section. Then you're going to drain off the excess. This is usually done before you start preparing your cake or bread, as well as preheating your oven to the required temperature. You can put that aside and start mashing the bananas. You can either use a fork or a whisk, the hand whisk. But I personally prefer to use the fork because I find it faster. Ensure that you mash the bananas properly so that you do not have lumps remaining. After that, we're going to start adding the eggs one by one to ensure that you properly mix everything. Add in the sugar, then mix properly. Afterwards, we're going to add in the oil, then mix it well. Please ensure that this section you properly combine the oil to the other wet ingredients until it's properly incorporated. That's when you're now going to add in your water. Mix it well. It won't take time. Then you add in your vanilla or your preferred flavor, though vanilla blends well with banana bread. We can set the wet ingredients aside and start combining the dry ingredients. To this, we're going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Salt enhances the flavor of all baked goods and also all the other doughs that you can make in your home. We'll then add in 2 teaspoons of baking soda and then give it a quick stir just to combine everything that you have added. Now that we have all our dry ingredients on one side and our wet ingredients on the other, we're going to add in the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients bit by bit, preferably in quarters. That way, you're not going to overmix your batter and end up with a tough dough. You just need to combine it until everything is mixed up well and nice, such that you do not have any lumps of flour inside. Once we have the last batch of flour added to the wet ingredients, just start folding. You're not mixing anymore, but you're folding it. This is now ready to be baked as is, but for me, I have a secret right here. I usually like to add chocolate. This is just chopped milk chocolate, but you can use any type of chocolate that is in your house, whichever you prefer. This is just what I prefer, but remember, you can leave it out. It's not mandatory, it's just an extra thing I like doing. So let's go in and dunk it all there, some goodness. Apart from chocolate, you can add mixed nuts, some pecans, some walnuts, whichever you prefer, or anything you would love to add in your banana bread, provided the ingredients marry. For me, I do not like nuts in my cakes or breads, but once you add whichever you'll prefer, you need to gently fold. You're not mixing anymore, you're just folding to avoid over mixing. So this is ready. We're going to put it in our baking tin and off to the oven. Before we bake, you need to ensure that you've tapped the tin against the surface a few times just to release any air bubbles that might have been blocked inside the cake. This will ensure that you do not have those big holes whenever you slice your cakes. It will be neat. This will go in the oven for 1 hour 30 minutes or until your cake tester comes out clean. You can either use a skewer or a clean knife to do the testing. In the event you realize that the top is burning, you can use a foil, aluminum foil, to cover it and continue baking. That will prevent the cake from burning without cooking on the inside. See you in 1 hour 30 minutes or 1 hour 15 minutes based on your settings. This is how you cover your cake or your bread with a foil in the oven. Please ensure that you let your bread to cool down completely before you start releasing it from the tin. You can go around with a bread knife just to make sure that it will come off clean. Not that it won't, but it's always good to try and be cautious whenever you can. As you can see, it comes off nicely without sticking on the pan. You can always use parchment paper if you're not sure that it will come off like this, but once you've dusted it, it looks good. So this is our bread. We can start slicing and you'll see how rich and moist and soft it looks from the inside. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you get to try the recipe, please tag my_jikoni on Instagram and also comment down below. I would love to know how yours turned out. Remember, you're always free to personalize these recipes that I do. They're not cast on stone, so you can adjust sugars, you can adjust the wet ingredients, whatever does not sit well with you. You can leave out the chocolate, that's just a personal preference that I have. You can also add pecans, walnuts, or mixed nuts like I mentioned. You're free to add in anything you would like in your banana bread, just provided the ingredients marry well. Remember to like, comment down below, share widely, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that you're notified every time I put up a new video. See you in a future video.